I recognize an anointing. Pastor Chris Oyakhilome. Is that the right way to pronounce it? That's the I recognize.
Greetings to you, my dearest family. Welcome again to Direct TV, bringing to you the truth with Brother Joshua. And right in today's video, guys, I am here with Bishop Dag Heward. And you see something. I posted a video some time ago about Pastor Chris and his daughter, and I saw a particular comment where someone said why is her daughter behaving like he doesn't know him or something like that, just like you are saying here. You see, and that's why when I saw this video of Bishop Heward, I had to bring it. A lot of people don't know how to recognize the anointing. You see, the fact that she could know that shows a kind of respect that she has for the anointing upon a father. See, there are some children that their father is pastors and they don't respect that, or they don't respect him. You see, but that was significant. You see that. So there's something he's going to be saying in today's video about Pastor Chris, the anointing, and equally Young Cho. So you got to listen to this with rapt attention. It will bless you. For those of you who don't know how to recognize anointing, it will bless you. So guys, before we dive into the video, don't forget to hit the like button and subscribe. Watch this.
Do you know how small my church was? My church was like this stage. Students. You know the places that I have been and what God has raised me without recommendation. Nobody has recommended me in the ministry. You know where we come from, people don't easily recommend. They don't easily introduce. Hey, there was nobody to introduce me in the ministry. Even when I was getting married, I didn't have anybody to officiate my wedding. When I became a pastor, I went to the church and informed them that from today I am a pastor. That's how I became a pastor. I'm no more Brother Dag, I'm now Pastor Dag. It is the grace, and it's an anointing. Yeah. And when I wanted my church to grow, I said there is something on some. When I sit by Young Cho, I see that I feel that there's something on him. There is. You see, I'm trying to let you see something spiritually. There is something on the person. Otherwise, he cannot do what he's doing. How do you know that the anointing has come on a person? This is how to know. Listen carefully. This is how to know. You know that you have received an anointing when you begin to do the things the person who is anointed does with similar results. And that's how I recognize anointings. When I look at Pastor Chris, I recognize an anointing. Pastor Chris Oyakhilome. Is that the right way to pronounce it? I recognize something. He said, and the one on whom you see the Spirit descending, and the one on whom you see that anointing. So how come pastors we can't see anointing? Many years ago, I wanted to have a big church, and I decided to try and get in touch with Young Cho. Now somebody sent me some tips. That's what I want. Church growth and this, church growth and that, church growth by Young Cho in English. Hey, I started to listen to them, and I started to get closer to a church growth anointing. Big church. When you go to Korea, you'll be amazed. Yeah. I mean, it is fantastic. Yeah. You have to choose. Did you hear me? I said you have to choose. Just like when you go to a shop, say, I want a black suit or white suit or red tie or blue tie. You choose. I want this thing. If it's a grace to start churches, see someone say, I want this thing. There is a lot to it. It's a long journey, but you can have it. I have learned something, you can have it. That's what I've learned in my ministry. If I have not learned it, I've learned that you can have these spiritual blessings. It's possible. It's not impossible. You know, many ministers don't understand what they are doing, and many ministers don't want people to have what they have. So they make it very mystical.
You know, when the Lord called me, when He appeared to me in the room there, and He just sat down on the chair, and He spoke to me about my calling. He said to me, you know, my son, This is a special unction that I'm placing. Stretch out your right hand. And I stretch out my right hand, and he put a diamond in my hand. I receive the glory of God for this eternal ministry.
Then you look at you. Jesus doesn't come to your room. How can you ever be like that? How can you ever amount to anything? Huh? Because the thing is so wild. A light shining, this, that, whatever, diamond.
And then after Jesus said to me, he said, my son, kneel down. And I knelt down immediately. And he took a certain divine oil and he poured it on my when he poured on my head, I began to feel a supernatural infusion of divine glory and visitation. Glory be to God.
So now, when you hear that, you say, me, I only read Bible and I pray. I open Bible, I read, I pray. I say that I don't feel anything. Hey, how many understand what I'm talking about? Hey, it sounds so wild and so far. God sent me here to tell you that you can be anointed. I tell you, you can have something specific. When I was in university, I had some tapes from Fred Price. My father's one of them is Fred Price. I learned how to preach by watching him preach. You know, I just used to watch him. One day my father came to the room, he saw me watching the video. He said, do you think you can become a priest by watching videos? He was prophesying. I actually was becoming a priest by watching the videos. I used to watch the same video. I like the way he preached. I like the way he walked about. I like the way he talked to people. He would walk the congregation. Isn't it? Have you seen him? He'll put his hand there. He'll talk to the people, this and that. And he had the crowd and he was talking, asking them. It was nice. One day I was in my church, years later, and I was in the middle of the congregation holding the chair and talking to the people. It was a Sunday morning, and the Lord said to me, see, you are there. I was a student without a church when I started to watch that thing, and the Lord said, you are there. What you saw, what you believed, you are standing. I was standing there in a large congregation on a Sunday morning, talking to them exactly the same way that Fred Price was talking to the people. Now, one of the ways you can follow someone is through his books and tapes, CDs, videos. Fred Price, I just met him last year or 2 years. 2 years. So that's the first time he came to town, and then somebody called and said Fred Price wants to have dinner with us. I said, how does Fred Price know me? I don't know how he knows. He wants to have me with you. So I went and met with him, gave him an offering, and that was it. That's the first and only time I've ever seen him for 30 minutes. I never met him before. Kenneth Hagin, never met him, just once. But I follow them. Oh, I know them better than the people that are in the church. The people that are in the church, they don't know what they have. The people that are in the congregation, they don't know what is with them. They don't know the type of grace that is around them. That is how it is, the familiarity. You don't know what you have, you don't know what is there. It's just, around, you just see it as nothing. That's why sometimes you have to travel so you see that people appreciate you. You see that you realize what giftings are in you.
All right, my dearest family, there you have it with the man of God, Reverend Dr. Chris. Just to state this, please, if you have not yet, followed us on our Facebook page yet, I keep talking about it. Please make sure you do so. I'll drop a link in the comment section. And before I go, I'll just love to tell you, I heard the several, things he did share, and I've talked about it in, a part of it in the beginning of the video. A lot of us need to know how to recognize the anointing when we see it. You see, and most of the mistakes that a lot of people have is that when once they have close connections with somebody, they tend not to know, they tend not to recognize it. For example, now let me use a familiar example. In this age and time, many of our pastors are becoming wise, you see, such that they don't depend on members for their money and all those things. Many of them are working. So imagine you see your pastor is rich, he has money, he has everything, and then you are looking at it that what will I give him that can help him, you see. So those are things like that make people not to recognize anointing upon a man of God. But you see, it's never about whatever you are giving to him. It's about what you recognize on him. So I was so blessed watching this video, and I'd love to see my next video. So for those of you coming newly to my channel, hit the subscribe button, like today's video, guys. See you in my next video. Bye.